You are listening to DC On Screen.
Oh, man. All right. DC On Screen, back. David C. Robertson. This is Jason Goss.
Hi.
So, this should be pretty short, I imagine. I can't imagine it being like a really long one, but every time we say that...
Yeah, they can unravel that way.
We've got like 3 news bits.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get to them because they were a big deal.
Yeah, it's an area of big news. And then we'll have to, like you said, keep the slate clean so we can wrap up Creature Commandos.
All right, so I guess we should start it off. First bit of the news. Superman is IMDb's #1 most anticipated movie of 2025.
Yay!
That's pretty cool. Yes, the usual suspects are screaming that James Gunn paid off IMDb.
Of course. I mean, I don't know what to make of that kind of metric. If IMDb is like a super reliable one, or
I don't know.
There's some Rotten Tomatoes bullshit going on here. I don't know.
It's good press though.
It is.
And you know what? My favorite negative take on this though was someone said that is a horrible list because it's had the top 10. And #1 is Superman. Number 2 is 28 Years Later. Number 3 is The Fantastic Four: First Steps.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Number 4, How to Train Your Dragon, the live action. My interest is gone now. Number 5, Thunderbolts. Interest back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Number 6 is Captain America: Brave New World, which, maybe. Yeah, okay, fine.
I'm into it.
Number 7, Snow White.
A lot of people are going to be, but not me.
Yeah. Number 8, Jurassic World Rebirth. Absolutely bottomed out there.
No, I could get back into a Jurassic anything casually. I might see it in 2026.
Right. Number 9, a Minecraft movie.
That's not going to be for me.
No. And number 10, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, which I still haven't seen.
I haven't seen any of the previous reckonings.
4, 5, 6, 7, and whatever. I don't. I've seen the first 3.
I think that's
in theater.
As far as I made it to. Well, either the first 2 or the first 3.
Well, I saw the first one on VHS.
Yeah.
That's how, when I was like 13.
Yeah, I mean, like Limp Bizkit was still in the shit when I was watching them.
Yeah. So, and then I saw number 3 while I was in college. Right. Isn't that crazy?
I think Simon Pegg got involved somewhere. And
oh, yeah. Yeah. He did.
That's about where I've lost track.
So, yeah, it is kind of a terrible list. Kind of. But it is the most, the top 10. And for me, it's like the top 3 are very obvious. You know,
I like a lot of that list, honestly. But,
and to be fair, I like what I've seen of the How to Train Your Dragon animated stuff. Like my wife loves that shit.
Yeah. It hasn't hit our household. She's just in other shows, but she's about the right age. So if she catches on to that one, it'll probably be a household name for about 6 months. Like a lot of these things do. But I heard good things. Never got around to it.
Yeah. I would like
honestly, for that list, I'd be a little bit proud to be on top of that list if that's what we're really talking about, considering it against.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, a big exciting news. News that we knew, but news that we didn't know.
Aliens?
It is in that category, isn't it?
Very well prefaced. All right, so up in New Jersey.
No. Jason Momoa.
What is aliens, after all?
Yeah. On his Instagram wrote, or he posted a picture of a quote from a previous interview. The quote was, "So Lobo was ... I collect comics and I don't do so much anymore. But he was always my favorite, and I always wanted to play Lobo because I'm like, hello, is the perfect role. I mean, listen, if they call and ask me to play him, it's a fuck yeah. I haven't received that call, so I don't want to put any fake news out there, but if they ever call me and ask me to play or ask me to audition, I'm there." And the caption description for the picture was, "They called."
Period.
Yeah. James Gunn shared that and said, "Welcome to the DCU, Jason Momoa. #Lobo, #Supergirl." So it is official. And Momoa has put up different pictures on Instagram. He has a video of him by a fire, and he's holding the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow script, and emblazoned across the front it says, "For Lobo's eyes only." He's smoking a cigar and laughing maniacally as Motorhead's Ace of Spades blasts in the background. Perfect song for Lobo.
I can see that.
And gotta say, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I am.
I hadn't thought about it. This would be fun if we come back in a month with him, a heartfelt Instagram post. Well, it looks like it won't happen after all.
That would be funny. That would be some Henry Cavill shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far, that's what's happening. And that's
you talked about, like, you remember that video from a while back, about a year ago, of just the most exciting day it ever had. The best phone call and so-and-so.
Yep. And we talked about
one
this.
Has to assume, yeah.
We talked about this. Like, he's had interviews where he's like, he just referenced one on his Instagram. There were others where he was suddenly not saying Lobo. He wasn't saying the name. He was saying, like, hey, so you can find it on the internet somewhere, but there's one character. I have all of their comics. Mm-hmm. And if that ever happens, but you know, like we knew something was happening with Lobo. He said it over and over again. He's told stories about meeting Zack Snyder for the first time, and Zack saying, "Hey, who do you think you should play?" And he's like, "Lobo." And he's like, "No, Aquaman." All right, Zack.
Yeah.
Which, you know, look, Zack knocked it out of the park for like the entire cast, probably except for maybe Ezra and Jason Momoa, in my mind.
I don't know. I liked them both for what they did on those.
I mean, it's like one of those things where, like, yeah, okay, I accept different versions and I liked what they did, kind of, like, but at the same time, I'm like, nah, that's not what I would have done.
Well, maybe, but that's, I think, one of the reasons that this might be happening is it's a really good example of they took a swing. I've never seen an Aquaman done that way.
Right.
Everyone really liked it. It went well.
Yeah.
It made $1.5 billion.
Well, the
second one made.
The second one did not do well.
Yeah, I was trying to combine them. But yeah, it did fine overall. Everyone liked the take. It was iconic in its own way. If you do that again now, you're going to be drawing off that premise. It's a really cool thing to have added. So why not move that over and just put him where he belongs, after all?
Yeah, and where he wants to be.
Yeah. What he was made for.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm still sitting here just like I'm still sitting here thinking back on watching Lost Kingdom and going like, damn it, Patrick Wilson should have been Aquaman. Like I literally have like a Perez like on my wall here and with an Aquaman on it, and I'm like, he literally looks like Patrick Wilson.
Yeah. No, that movie, both those movies, that's a good point. If they had swapped the casting, it would have been just as good. Yeah.
The chemistry still would have been there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, especially thinking about the second one, them running through the woods, and hell, that second one might have been improved if they had swapped bodies on it.
Anyway. So yeah, I'm excited that Jason Momoa is going to be in Supergirl.
Of course.
As Lobo. Mm-hmm. Love Lobo. Excited about that. It's kind of funny seeing people like a lot of the Snyder bros complaining about Jason Momoa now as Lobo, because it's like they're like I saw one guy particularly made me laugh, saying like James Gunn's casting whims are going to be the death of the DCU or something, and I just laughed. I was like, casting whim, like the thing that we've all been saying he should have been playing for like 12 years.
The thing he wanted to play. I don't know how much of this has been a whim. All of these seem like very telegraphed decisions too.
Yeah. Like it's been over a year.
We didn't just turn around and, I mean, maybe if you just caught the news, that's fine. But there've been hints at a lot of people, and it seems, it just seems like a very weird critique for a number of reasons.
Well, there's the ever prevalent now, for some reason, James Gunn is obsessed with copying Zack Snyder. which I thought he was copying the CW and throwing everything from Zach out.
Yeah.
That was the complaint before. It's just, man, y'all, come on.
Yeah.
It's tiresome.
Yeah.
What are y'all talking about?
And in any way that counts, this doesn't look like anything I've seen. Not really before. Except it looks like a James Gunn film so far.
Yeah, it does. It does.
It just looks like different logos attached to it.
No, James Gunn is being so original. Look at Superman's outfit. It just looks like is Star-Lord's outfit, but with blue and a Superman symbol on it. It does kind of, though.
I mean, yeah, a little.
I'm not mad at that, though. I'm not mad at that. It's a new take. Like, why would you, like, you can't, like, complain that he's ripping off Zack Snyder and then complain in the next breath that he's not being enough like Zack Snyder.
You can. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you can. But no, it does not make sense. It's stupid.
It's a waste of time.
It's ridiculous. And also, like, I like Golden Age Superman. One of my favorite Superman is from Darwin Cook, where he really steps in and he does the dynamic look of modern era, but has that style from the Golden Age. Where, Superman's suit isn't skin tight. It's not, you're not seeing every glistening muscle. Mm-hmm. He's got some wrinkles coming up out of his belt. He's got a little movement.
Mm-hmm.
I dig it. I don't,
It's more of a jumpsuit situation.
I don't need to be Joel Schumacher up in here seeing the fucking Montgomery glands on his nipples, Yeah. Good God.
It was a lot.
Whether there be Kryptonian writing on it or not. I don't need to see his navel.
Mm-hmm. Not necessarily, no. I hadn't thought about how tight this one's going to be either, but yeah. But we normally can see a whole lot, but I guess thankfully there was a huge gradient on the Snyder version of everything. More distracting.
Yeah.
It's going to be improving over like a stark black surface with bat nipples on them.
Mm-hmm. David Leitch, the director of Deadpool 2 and John Wick and Atomic Blonde and Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw and Bullet Train and The Fall Guy. He wants to do a Lobo movie.
God.
He wrote in the comment section on Momoa's post.
Going to be busy.
Uh-huh. He showed up in Momoa's comments, said, let's do a Lobo feature.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Hit it up.
Yeah. Come up with a good pitch. Good enough pitch. Get Gunn interested. We can have it fast tracked.
Mm-hmm.
Just make it good. I'm down.
Yeah. It'd be a hard time to say no right this second.
Mm-hmm.
Throw the money at it.
Mm-hmm.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
Creature Commandos. The last episode of Creature Commandos, the previous episode 6, Riotous Skeleton, which means friendly skeleton.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
They had like a little flashback of Dr. Phosphorus's origin. And we did get a shot of Batman in the DCU. Mm-hmm. He's just in silhouette. There's some lightning. James Gunn was talking to...
very BTAS, in my opinion.
It did look very BTAS. James Gunn said when they first gave the episode to me, we saw a lot more Batman. I would say, I'm not ready to commit to that. I'm not ready to commit to that. I'm not ready to commit to that. So I was like, more silhouette. It's a great way to show that Batman does exist. Yeah. I think it's a great way to show Batman exists. He already exists in this universe, just like when we come to the Superman movie and we see Superman already exists and is already known by the people of Metropolis. Yeah. We don't need to hear the origin story again. That's just a way to introduce that Batman as part of the universe. He's an important part of this universe and he has an impact on it, including defeating such pretty dangerous, scary people like Dr. Phosphorus, who's pretty tough. And, again, seeing a lot of people saying that, Gunn's not being original. He's stealing Affleck's design, which Affleck was stealing the Dark Knight Returns design, which was stealing was supposed to be a progression of the Dick Sprang 1950s Silver Age design.
Oh, friends, it's been a tradition all the way back to Bill Finger and Bob Kane.
Now, here's the real thing. Here's the real issue. Yes, he's got to go bulkier Batman. as they did in Batman, the animated series, or Batman Brave and the Bold. They're going to go bulkier because if you notice, they kind of go back and forth. Like, okay, so we have bulky Batman, the animated series Batman. All right, how do we differentiate the next Batman from the one previous?
He is basically a triangle. Yeah.
Let's make him a little slimmer. Let's make him real slim and sleek. Let's do a little, the Batman, he was pretty slim and sleek. And then they did, Brave and the Bold cartoon. He's thicker again. And then they did Beware the Batman. He's thinner again. You noticing like in the movies, Ben Affleck, he was thick because he was based on Dark Knight Returns, but also they wanted to differentiate from the previous Batman, who was Christian Bale, who was really thin. Mm-hmm. You notice how they do that, right? So it makes sense that the DCU Batman would be thicker because Robert Pattinson's Batman is thinner.
Pattinson, okay. I was also trying to think if there was going to be like a dark horse Batman that's going to make it to screen faster and interrupt your rhythm.
The only thing that I can think of that really, bothers it, but I kind of don't count it because it was like, there's Keaton, who was short and thin.
The everyman Batman.
And then Kilmer was short and thin. And Clooney was tall and thin. But they were all kind of supposed to be the same Batman.
Count Kilmer as thin back in that era.
He was.
He was a bit jacked in that era.
A bit jacked, but he's not jacked. Like, go back and look at him shirtless in those scenes.
Yes, he was not what I would, for that era, not what I would call Roadhouse jacked.
He is a wee little man.
Not a wee little man.
He is a wee little man, Jason.
Okay, I'll go
I enjoyed his Batman. He did a pretty good job as Batman. He was a wee little man.
He just felt Batman.
Like, West was more jacked back in his day.
Oh, Christ. No, he was.
Barely.
Wasn't West like a bit tall as well?
I don't know. I never saw him as terribly tall.
I mean, not incredibly tall, just like if me and you had a baby tall.
Oh, God. The thing about West was, he might have been tall, but Alan Napier, his Alfred, was so damn tall that West always looked a bit runtish.
Yeah.
To me.
He was basketball player big.
But I think it's telling, and I haven't heard anyone really talk about it before. I've heard people complain that, he's ripping off this Batman or whatever. Like, what the fuck do you want, dude? Like, how original? Like, there's people are saying how original to this silhouette of Batman. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's Batman though. That's what Batman is. He's a dark silhouette against a lightning sky. Like, that's iconically Batman.
Yeah, he's supposed to move in the shadows. That's the whole point of the uniform.
Like, what originality were you looking for? You're just trying to find a reason to bitch, essentially, is what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't heard anyone talk about how, it makes sense for this Batman to be thicker and how this indicates, like, yeah, that was a mighty thick Batman in Creature Commandos. It makes sense that he would be opposite of what Pattinson's Batman is. Or, if something happens and they wind up casting someone, I bet you anything Gunn has an idea in his head of who's going to play him. But,
that
maybe even ideal.
Both like, I'm not ready to commit to this section of the show. Is just him going through a quick little Rolodex of possible things going,
yeah.
No, but I really like this color or that color.
Yeah. But of course, the important thing to remember is for all of these characters, the commitment only really lasts for the first appearance.
Right.
Because you gotta sell toys. And it makes sense within the comics for Batman to have numerous outfits. Superman too.
Of course. Yeah.
I mean, we weren't sitting here going like, oh man, Tony's going to be wearing this for the rest of the series.
Yeah. And there has to be a last act costume upgrade of some kind.
It doesn't have to be.
Or a downgrade. Either way. Either which is sellable.
Sometimes it could just be like,
tatters.
If the theme of the movie is like the man versus the gadgets, which one is really Batman, and he is stripped of everything, and then he's like, it's like that Rocky and Rocky 5 alleyway brawl. Well, then you're going to have way less costume.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you could. Well, has anyone ever just actually taken a doll that can be completely dressed and repackaged a naked version as the end of movie naked version?
I've seen some
repackaged, no accoutrement whatsoever.
I've seen some like hot toys get battle damaged on purpose by customizers. Yeah. And I'm like, you fool, that's a hot toy. It's worth like $300. What the hell's wrong with you? Anyway. So yeah, I think what we saw of Batman was very purposeful based on what he said. Yeah, he didn't mention like, yeah, I made sure like Batman's needs to be thinner or bigger. Like he didn't say anything about that specifically, but that Batman's thick as hell. So
the thing with animated that I have to remind myself of constantly is that nothing you see is a mistake. Even that's not completely true. That you can send something off to an animator and just not pay attention and have done something that you didn't see coming. But a lot of stuff that's going to be there is going to have had attention paid to it at some point. Options were done, erasers were pulled out, and decisions were made, and a lot of it. So that area is one where I feel like, yeah, they probably didn't just draw the first version of that, throw it up there, and then whatever was left, Gunn was like, well, that's good enough. But don't take it too far. Like, just because he said, I don't want to commit to this, don't also think that whatever you saw there is in stone. Right.
Because, what we saw was a flashback. All it could really be is like at some point, Dr. Phosphorus or somebody else says, you always look way bigger in our memory or something,
Yeah.
He could do anything. He really could.
You were huge that night. Yeah. You're made of radiation. I had a bunch of padding on. All right.
Right. That's a good point too. Yeah.
I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
It strikes me as a very like Beatles got in trouble for it kind of thing, but to that end, like Crime Alley, Orphan,
right?
Other Planet, Alien, Crashed Here. The broad strokes of what those two characters are. Like how Gunn keeps saying, I don't need to do their origins again. Which I completely agree with at this point. Yeah, you can do them beautifully if you want to. I think you didn't need to do it for the Man of Steel movie, but I still think that first 10 minutes is fucking gorgeous, and I wouldn't change it for the world. So
there's a lot of good stuff in that Man of Steel opening for sure.
Yeah. Incredible. But at some point you got to wonder, kind of like the Lennon thing, to what end do people actually have like a good enough broad stroke of Superman and Batman as they do like Jesus? Like if you just grabbed anyone on a planet of 8 billion people and said like, let me just grab 1,000 of you from any district or across any district and just said like, hey, what's the basic story of these three? I think there's a chance they get kind of close on all three.
Yeah. I don't think it's that important. And I say that too, because like we live in a world where we've forgotten the fact that these characters didn't have origins for like the first year of their existence, something like that, something crazy like that. Like they had like a very broad version of their origin, I think, for Superman. But, I think Batman's
for a year, he was just, I'm not from around here.
Yeah. He's just, for a time, he didn't even have Mom and Pa Kent. He was like found by a farmer or whatever and taken to an orphanage where he grew up, like Batman didn't have a proper origin until Batman #1. So this is like a year, I think, after Detective, 27 came out, which was his first appearance.
Sounds right.
So, I mean, these, even without origins or fully fleshed out origins, these characters were bangers that came out of the gate as pop culture icons.
Yeah.
And so now
pervasive is a great word for how much we know about these things. I mean, yeah, I just don't think you could show this in a small town in, Poland. And I just think that people are going to recognize these logos.
Oh, definitely. So, 2025, maybe not everybody is, on board enough to be like, Superman's a Moses figure or something, but
no, but the strong blue-red guy that can fly and you can't kill him. I know that guy.
Yeah.
That'll be close enough for most people.
He came here in a ship because his planet exploded. Yeah, we know that.
They'll explain that in the course of the movie briefly.
Batman's rich.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I think we're good. I don't mind the origin not being told.
Not a bit.
On the other hand, we've got Wonder Woman, who's apparently getting her whole culture is getting a whole prequel series. So, Paradise Lost or whatever.
Yeah, I forget about that. But makes sense.
Which Gunn says is still in very, very active development.
I've heard. I hear about it every time they talk about the slate itself, but like nothing in between about the movie itself.
I think it was a show, yeah, but yeah, you don't hear much about it.
Mm-mm.
But just very recently, I think in the last 2 episodes or so, we talked about how Gunn said it was still in very active development.
Yeah, I recall now. There's a lot of potential with a show like that because people people like a good stranded island story. They could play to a lot of people, but same as I've feared with so many roles, just don't do the fake Victorian dialogue thing. Just spare yourself. No. Please don't do it.
No, let's do warrior Greek lesbians.
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah.
I just don't want to do the thing they do with like the Kryptonians every time I see them, where
they're all speaking Shakespearean.
Yeah, sad, angry English. Shakespeare thing.
Yeah, it's all King James version.
Yeah, it's loathsome, and I don't want to build the whole show around it that I might end up watching. I just beg of you, don't do it. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It'd be pretty baller if it was all in like Greek, in like ancient Greek.
Yeah.
We're all just sitting there reading subtitles. My wife would be so mad.
I mean, yeah. I don't want to swing the other way either, where like the people on the early island are, casually talking about eating shit. But yeah, I don't want the super new version where it's just trying to sound cool. Just something in the middle where they talk like normal people that don't sound like they're trying to audition for a local play.
I don't know. I don't know what I want. I just want it to feel authentic, whatever it is.
That'd be good.
Yeah. Well, because what I said was vague enough that you can't disagree with it. But
I mean, in my context, I interpret it as like, yeah, just don't put a pound of words into a sentence where a teaspoon would do.
Yeah. I don't mind subtitles because I'm pretty sure I'm ADHD as fuck. So I need the subtitles on anyway.
Sure. A practice that I cannot stand.
Oh, well.
Yeah. So I get seen these days. I still vaguely remember the old days, just when subtitles were a real thing where y'all were the weirdos. But no, most people like them now, or a lot of people do.
Yeah.
50-50 in a room that someone might turn them on, and I find them incredibly distracting. Like, borderline can't watch it because the moment the dialogue's there, I'll read the entire dialogue without being able to focus on anything else.
Mm-hmm. I do that sometimes. It just depends, but sometimes my brain needs it. Sometimes I just can't understand what words are when they're talking.
Yeah. I'm always appreciative when I need to go back and if I've hit rewind a couple times and just have to go, what the fuck are they saying?
Yeah, my wife doesn't really care for them too much, but there are certain shows that we have to have them on where we just put them on. Like The Penguin, they did enough damn whispering in that show. I was like, nah, I need them. I need thick mob accents and whispering. Nah, put them on. No, put them on.
I kind of watched that show at full volume and small spaces. I didn't have trouble with it. It just part of it also when I'm reading the subtitles, because you can, I mean, a lot of those are mistyped or it's a job that someone does. And I find myself very distracted by the job itself. Like I'm reading it kind of a little bit half seeing if all the words I think are right, because those get done very quickly and there's a lot of errors. And then I love the little choices they make when stuff happens on screen. It'll be like jangly music.
Yeah, I do enjoy that though.
I just find it very distracting for the story that I'm trying to watch.
But see, I like what you're talking about though, because I'll be sitting there going like, that ain't what they said.
Yeah.
But it helps me remember what they did say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like a little, it's like a mental marker. Like, no, that they said this. Screw that. They'd said this.
I think it's like just enough time for me to emotionally detach from a scene while I'm thinking about whatever was being typed up right then. And like, oh, did somebody actually proof that one, or they just type that one up real quick and send it on its way? Or okay.
Yeah, sometimes things got to be done. Gots to be done. And these days, it was probably like, for real, it was probably they just like ran it through a translation software and it like made the captions, and then they had someone go through and proofread it.
Oh, easily. Very much looking forward to the day that might come where I have the same trouble and I need to figure out what the fuck somebody just said. So I go looking for it, and no one proofread this well enough, and it just made it to air anyway. And it's on like Amazon Prime or some shit. And the subtitles just say, there's just like a blank space, and it just says, I don't know either. Mm. And then it goes back to a dialogue that's a little more understandable for everyone involved.
I've seen that several times.
Have you?
Yeah.
Which Nolan movie?
Dark Knight Rises. No.
Thought it would be Tenet for sure.
No, actually, I saw they did it once on The Boys, at least, where I noticed it. Nice. Where they didn't say I didn't know either. They said unintelligible.
Oh, okay. I think it would be that or just dashes.
Yeah.
I just want it to be so casual, like somebody doing it live, where there's just like a space where there should have been a couple words, and then it just says "fuck me," and then like the next person starts talking, and they type normally, like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, I saw one that said "indecipherable noise," something like that. On
The Boys, it would just be can't talk.
Now that would be a different level that I would enjoy. That like the closed captioning sometimes becomes just like MST3K, where it's just commentary on the audio or something.
See, I think that'd be a treasure. I would love to have laid that trap. If that was your job and you kind of went around just doing episodes of things, I would love it to be that someone unraveled that, like, yeah, this one guy's just on pretty much every show you love. There's one episode where this guy got his hands on one episode. And in the subtitles, there's some fucked up thing that happens.
Yeah. Like,
you buried across genres even.
You get some bad guy laughing maniacal, and it says, instead of saying maniacal laughter, it says laughs motherfuckeringly.
Just says dude wishes he Joker.
Bro laugh bad cap.
Yeah.
Oh God, the captions were provided by Frank Miller's Mutants.
Yeah.
Dude laugh madcap. Bro angry for real.
Yeah.
SMH.
That's all I had. How about you?
I think that's it.
Rapper.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening. Patreon.com/DC on screen. If you want to hear every episode ad free, it's a $1 commitment, $1 a month. It's not too bad.
Yeah. Hardly.
If you want the extra bullshit we do from time to time, that's $5 a month. That's still not bad. I mean, it's a bad deal for how much we actually put out extra.
Not for all there is back still though.
But yeah, there's still a lot we've done in the past. So that's a good point, Jason. That's a good point. Mm-hmm. See, you know how to sell this shit.
Yeah.
I'm not good. I try to be too honest. I'm like, man, you ain't getting shit for your money, dude. For real, it ain't really worth it. You're just supporting us, and why would you want to do that?
Yeah.
But we do very much appreciate everyone who.
We just have a minor. It's a minor and major tier of keeping lights on.
Mm-hmm.
Lights on menorah, lights on majora, as we call them.
What?
What?
Did you say something about a menorah?
I did.
Are you being
lights
racist?
on menorah and then lights on majora.
That sounds. Is it the Jewish menorah?
No, that's a whole different spelling.
Oh, you mean vaginally?
Yeah, or constellation.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure you weren't being racist.
Any of these were options. I forgot there was a word that even rhymed with what you were talking about.
Oh my God.
That was confusing, and now I feel like I need to pray.
That's weird.
Somehow.
Well, you said lights on menorah, and the menorah is the thing with all the candles. The Jewish thing with all the candles.
Ah, yes.
Did you light?
That is true.
So that's what threw me off.
See, in my head, in my head, that's a little bit associated with like the Hanukkah package, and I have to kind of go in and unravel the package. I don't immediately remember.
And now I want to do like a Photoshop thing where it's like be a menorah, but it's like got the candles.
That's a fever dream.
Welcome to my brain. Anyway, happy Hanukkah.
Yeah. So this year's, I guess.
Oh God. Anyway, thank you for listening.
Until
next time.
Everyone needs to go get some sleep.
Until next time, dear listener, keep some DC on your screen.
It's getting easier these days.
It is.